Hello everyone, welcome to the new video tutorial of Biochemistry. In the last session we have dealt about tissue system, which is not yet completed, but most of the aspects are discussed. We have to discuss other subjects in biology like cell biology, because most of the entrance questions will be asked from cell biology, molecular biology, biotechnology, etc. We'll be completing all the chapters, but we have to begin the chapters one by one. All the chapters should be discussed. So in this session we'll be beginning the cell biology. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe to it and enable the bell icon to get daily notification. So without wasting time, let's get on with the video. So first, let's discuss some introductory questions or introductory points related to entrance from this chapter. The first one is, that's a common point that everyone knows, but since to make a foundation or make a base of this cell biology, we have to discuss all these points. The first one is that Robert Hooke is the first one to discover a cell, and he discovered the cell from cork. And he saw that as a room or structure of room and named it as cell. That's how the name cell came. And Leeuwenhoek was the first one to discover a free cell, free cell. That means cells which are not in the form of tissue like bacteria, red blood cells, like so. Free cells are discovered by Leeuwenhoek. So first cell was discovered by Robert Hooke, and the first free cell was discovered by Leeuwenhoek. The next point is that Schleiden, Schwann and Virchow, three of them contributed their theories and formulated the cell theory. The final cell theory was formulated by these theorists. Schleiden and Schwann first formulated a theory, which was then combined with Virchow's view also. Then this final cell theory was proposed. You may see a lot of points in cell theory, but let's focus on the two first important points, which is relevant in the entrance point of view. The first one is that all living organisms are composed of cell and its components. That's the first one. Second one is omnicellular ecellular, that is all the cells exist from or originates from pre-existing cells. That's an important point, and I wrote this term because in the cell theory it was this term which was used, that is omnicellular ecellular was used. So sometimes you may get a question stating that this point or this is related to which thing or which theory. So we have to focus or connect it to the cell theory. So that's why I'm saying I have written this one, omnicellular ecellular. That means all cells originates from pre-existing cells. So that's what we have to discuss in the introductory part. Now let's see the two different kinds of cells. Now the types of cells, there are basically two types of cells, that is the prokaryotic and eukaryotic. You may be knowing all these points, but first to build up a base of the cell biology we have to discuss all these points because there are many students who know this but does not know the relevance of these points. So that's why I'm focusing here. We'll be discussing more or going to the deep root of this chapter once we finish the basic portions. The first one is the prokaryotic and the second one is eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are primitive cells, which means they are ancestors. They can be said they are ancestors of eukaryotic cells. And the main point here is that there is no membrane-bound cell organelles and no nucleus. No nucleus means because there is no nuclear membrane, there is no a particular structure known as nucleus, but the genetic material is found in a space known as nucleoid. So that's what we had to focus in prokaryotic in the definition point of view. Now, so coming on to the eukaryotic, it's a bit advanced one, and it has membrane-bound cell organelles, and hence nucleus is present. Because nuclear membrane is present, and inside that the genetic materials and all the other compounds are present. So that's what we had to focus on, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells in the definition point of view. But sometimes a question might be asked from the difference. What are the difference from the eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells? So now let's discuss the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell in detail or point by point. So let's go on to that. Now the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, some basic points are discussed here. The first one is nucleus, that is no nucleus in prokaryotic cell because nuclear membrane is not there. So such a structure which is known as nucleus is not seen in prokaryotic, but it is seen in eukaryotic cells. In prokaryotic, no nucleus, but in eukaryotic, nucleus is present. The second point is that nucleolus is not seen in prokaryotic cells because nucleolus is a darkly stained region in nucleus which is not seen in prokaryotic. But in the case of eukaryotic, a darkly stained region is present in the eukaryotic nucleus. So to remember this, the point is that in the cell in which nucleus is present, nucleolus is also present, but where the nucleus structure is not present, there nucleolus is absent. That's how you can memorize it. Now the third point is that the cells divide by a process known as amitosis in prokaryotic, but in the eukaryotic the cells divide by mitosis and meiosis. And mitosis is nothing but mitosis. The cell is division, divides to form new cells without undergoing reduction division. But in the case of eukaryotic cells, meiosis and mitosis both takes place. So the final point is the ribosome, which is 70th step in prokaryotic cell, and the eukaryotic cell, it is 80th step. So these are the basic or important points which you have to memorize, understanding the basic components of eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. So that's all we have to discuss about prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Now let's move on to the biochemistry of cell. So biochemistry of cell. So this is a branch of science or biology in which the chemical nature or chemical reactions taking place in a cell is studied. So biochemistry of cell means the chemical reactions we have to focus on which takes place in a cell. So the first one will be discussing the introductory part of biochemistry in brief in this class. So the first one we'll be discussing is nature of bonds in a cell. So this is a common question which is asked in many entrance questions. So the nature of bond in a cell. There are almost 5 types of chemical bonds which is seen in a cell. The first one is covalent bond, which takes place due to the electron sharing between adjacent atoms, and it is the strongest bond. So the strongest among this one is the covalent bond. The second one is a non-covalent bond, which is weak and it takes place due to molecular interactions. It is not such important, but covalent bond is one among the important topics which you have to study. The third one is electrostatic interaction, which takes place in interaction due to the electric charges distributed on an atom. So which can be also known as ionic bond. So that's also important. The second strongest bond after covalent bond is electrostatic interaction or ionic bond. The fourth one is hydrogen bond, which takes place due to the partial sharing of hydrogen atom between two electronegative atoms. There is a third strongest bond, a weak bond among the important three. So the important three chemical bonds in a cell is covalent bond, electrostatic interaction, hydrogen bond, which is the weakest among the three. It is weak, and the solvent properties of water is decided due to the hydrogen bond. So the solvent properties of water is decided due to the presence of hydrogen bond. So that's what makes the water unique. That is hydrogen bond present in it. And finally, the van der Waals force, or it's also known as van der Waals force of attraction. It is a weak and it is continuously varying around the atom. So that's a weak force in a cell. So this three important one, that is covalent bond, the second one is electrostatic interaction, and the third one is hydrogen bond. These three are the important one which we have to focus. The strongest among this is covalent bond, and the second strongest is electrostatic force, and the weak among the three is hydrogen bond. So these three are the important one because it's frequently asked in the entrance questions. So that's all we have to focus in this class today taken. So if you have any doubt or confusions, mail me to bio@gmail.com. So wait till next video.